Hey guys, Joshua Peterson, Peterson Electric. It is September 2018. NEC is the 2017 code book handbook I'm in. I want to talk to you today about water heaters. I'm not 100% pro at all this. I know your hot water heater guys might be more experienced at things, but here's some common sense to the electrical side of a hot water heater is aluminum to copper mixture right here. So that's dissimilar metal, and look what's happened over the last 25 years. Okay, so our hot water heater guy just came out and replaced this. Well, this has aluminum to copper here. This has copper to copper. These were not twisted well with copper. Put on some new red wire caps, that's fine. But aluminum to copper in there, if you've already seen my other videos, you need to use your rubber Ilsko or Polaris connectors. Those are your best ways to do that, to mate those dissimilar metals. The box is deep enough. The only one thing I don't like about this, but it's changed since the last 25 years, most likely, is that there's not a disconnect within sight. The disconnect is right around this corner. Technically, it has to be within sight, but if it's a home that it's way on the other side of the house, maybe you want to have a lockout breaker. But today I want to talk about 422.13, that a fixed type water heater that is 120 gallons or less shall be considered continuous duty 125%. Some people say that that rating is already in that calculation. I do not think so. You have to look at your tag, and this is a brand new 3-day-old water tank, and it says 5,500 on the element. It says lower and upper. That used to confuse me, but bottom line is that the total amount is 5,500, so that means they don't kick on together. Sometimes they can. This is rated at 208 or 240 single phase, not 3-phase. Your rating on this, if you divide it out, you got to know your voltage of the house. This is 248. So if I divide that out, that's like 22 amps. If I had my house at 220 here, then of course my amps go up to about 25, and that's about 3 to 4 amps more. Continuing that at 125%, you got to know that that's going to be at 27 amps if I'm dividing by 248. But then you also have to keep in mind, what kind of wire do you have? Well, this is 25 years old, so here it's compact aluminum, and it's going to be in the 10 gauge. So that's going to be talking about the fact that it should be rated 25 to 30 amps. But there is an asterisk down here that talks about 244D. So you got to keep in mind that it does state that you cannot be higher than the rating when you're considering this. So in here, it's basically going to talk about in 244, but then you're going over here to page 149, that your rating on a 10 gauge aluminum versus copper is 25 amps, and on copper it's 30. Okay, so they are going to derate you to protect that wire. But you also have to consider 110.14 as well, and that talks about any wire lower than a number 1 or 100 amp is going to be here rating at 60 degrees Celsius. So keeping that in mind in 310.15, now that you know some of your limitations to derate that wire. This is not on a roof. This is not in a conduit. This is just NM cable through the crawl space. So when we're considering the ampacity of this wire, then we are good right here at 25 to 30 amps. Okay. I did increase the connections, so I do not have a weaker link with a wire cap anymore. I have the Polaris connector, so that's not going to be my weak link. Probably is my breaker now. Keep that in mind, that the book is rated on something that's brand new, not always to replace something, but when you replace it, you got to know where to jump around when you're replacing that hot water heater. Again, if that was 120 gallons or higher with electric, you're probably going to be more like a 100 amp breaker. But the 125% doesn't apply because it doesn't kick on as much because the gallons are deeper. But if you do have to rate that, make sure you rate that 125%. It's like a continuous duty. It's not on for more than 3 hours, of course, but it's not based on that. It's the intensity of that element. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Hopefully it helps you out.